Today we're playing an oldie but a goodie. I'm talking about Izzet Charm. It is the perfect card for modern Lotus Breach. It counters Blood Moon, it kills Dauthi Voidwalker, and it fills the graveyard for Underworld Breach. I think it's a really good find. Let's go see the deck list. This is it. This is the deck list that we're playing today, and I can't take full credit. A bunch of really smart people have been working on modern Lotus Breach, but straight Izzet builds. No black for Wishclaw Talisman. Instead, they're playing the card Wish. I've played a lot of Wish lists previously. If you're interested in those, go search the channel. You'll find tons of them. But ultimately, I felt like they were lacking. I'd rather have Wishclaw Talisman because it finds Lotus Field as well as Underworld Breach and the One Ring. I think it's much better in the deck personally, so that's what I'm playing today. However, these really brilliant individuals have rediscovered Izzet Charm, a card that I haven't played since the beginning of my Twiddle Storm experience over 2 years ago, and now we're playing it again tonight. I think, as I said in the intro, it's really smart. It answers Chalice of the Void, Leyline Binding, Blood Moon on the counterspell axis. As removal, it kills Dauthi Voidwalker, and then on top of that, you get to fill your graveyard for Underworld Breach and smooth out your draws. I mean, I truly think that it's a really amazing find. So today we're playing a list featuring 4 copies of Izzet Charm alongside Hidden Strings. So in my last video that I uploaded about 3 months ago, you can find that one in the card above. A lot of people in the comment section were like, you should be playing Hidden Strings, you should be playing Hidden Strings. I actually don't agree with you, but I'm going to play it tonight. So I would actually prefer more copies of Twiddle. The reason why is Hidden Strings is really only good in 2 spots. One where the game has gone long and you have Lotus Field and another land, like a basic island, and that way it essentially makes up for the fact that it's 1 more mana in a format where Spell Pierce is very popular. Yikes. Or you're in a spot where you have Lotus Field and the One Ring. So my problem with that is if you have Lotus Field in the One Ring, you're already winning the game in most situations. So then a card like Hidden Strings becomes a little bit win more. So if you have Twiddle instead, you can just Twiddle the One Ring, have 2 mana floating, draw a large amount of cards, and then keep going. Like, I think I'd rather see these numbers inverse personally. I think I'd prefer 4 Twiddle, 1 Hidden Strings for a late game easy mode Underworld Breach, but I'm not even sure if that's good. So today I'm trying to figure out, am I wrong about Hidden Strings? That's my main goal. There's some other changes in the deck regarding the mana base, like 3 Steam Vents to support Izzet Charm, Otawara because we're not playing Void Snare today because we turn that slot into an Izzet Charm, and then Snapback in the sideboard. This is a tutorable target for Wishclaw Talisman that can answer Dauthi Voidwalker for just the activation cost of the Wishclaw Talisman. And then we have a bunch of counter magic, Force of Negation to just stop Blood Moon from ever resolving, Echoing Truths for ley lines, and then AF Progenitor Ooze to dodge Graveyard Hate. That is the deck list. That's my short and sweet deck tech. If you have any other comments, questions, suggestions, whatever, put those in the comment section down below. But for now, I want to hop in and play my favorite modern deck. I'll see you in the first match. Don't go anywhere. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, cyborg guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to match number 1. We're on the draw, and unfortunately, my only land is this Singleton Lotus Field. We have to take a mulligan. Okay, so here we have a pretty good hand. The downside is I am on 1 land and the Lotus Field. So I think I'm going to keep this rather than going to 5, but we need to find that other land. So I'm going to bottom the second Hidden Strings, choosing to keep the Wishclaw Talisman. Modern is a format that has a lot, and I mean a lot, of Thoughtseize in it. So in order to hedge myself against discard, I'm choosing to keep an extra payoff, and instead we're facing Burn. Yikes. Okay. Definitely not a matchup that I wanted to be on the draw. The upside, maybe Goblin Guy gives me a land. Trigger happens. And I reveal an Underworld Breach, which isn't bad, but it doesn't allow me to play my Lotus Field on curve. Here we'll play a tapped Watery Grave and pass. Our opponent untaps. They play a Sacred Foundry. A Lava Spike. I fall to 15 life. Another Lava Spike. I'm at 12. Now they attack with the Goblin Guide. I will fall to 10 life. Land, please. Another Underworld Breach. So we're going to miss our second land drop here. I think that's unfortunately going to be how game number 1 ends. They have 3 cards in hand. They have a creature that gets to attack again here. Half my life is already gone. I can't see myself possibly winning another missed land. Okay. We will move to cleanup. Brutal. Okay. We can go to game number 2 now. That was unfortunate. Okay, so let's bring in Leyline of Sanctity. And then Snapback's interesting. I don't know if we need it, but it's a card that we can bring in. If Progenitor Ooze is another option to avoid something that could remove our graveyard. I've seen Rest in Peace in sideboards before. You never know. Having one in your Wishclaw Talisman deck isn't the worst. So we have 65 cards here. What to take out? I've already boarded out the Pact of Negation. I think we could probably shave a couple copies of Izzet Charm. And then we'll do 2 Hidden Strings and a Vizier. Let's try this. On the play for game number 2. Yeah, I mean, this doesn't have Leyline in it, but it's a very good hand. Okay, so ouch, we go to 19. We'll grab a basic. Consider. Put that land straight to the graveyard. Okay, so now we just want to find Twiddles. That's all we want here. And unfortunately, we have less 1-mana Twiddles. You might be wondering why I played Consider on the first turn. Well, we do have the Scalding turn, which means if I scry to the bottom, we're about to shuffle those cards back in. So by playing the Consider on the first turn, I am not going to reshuffle my scries. That is the idea. Our opponent gets in for 1, we go to 18. Wishclaw Talisman. So I could go to 15, play the Wishclaw. It doesn't help me when my goal is really just to find Twiddles, I think. So I'm going to fetch. Because Twiddle doesn't really make mana off of Wishclaw. So we'll play the Preordain. We'll keep the other Preordain just because it digs a little bit deeper than this Consider. Both these can go on the bottom. Unfortunately, we've missed. We just saw a lot of cards and did not hit a Twiddle. Our opponent plays a Sun-Baked Cannon, Lightning Bolt, and another Lightning Bolt. They're coming in hot. If I don't find a Twiddle off this draw step, we might be dead. I'm about to be at 8 life. Okay, we have 5 Twiddles. That was not it. I think we're dead. Consider. We can mill the Tome Scour. Can't even use the Snapback, unfortunately. No blue cards in it. Get rid of the islands, pass. So if you're looking at this and you're like, well, those Wishclaws could have been blue cards. If you play the list that's been doing well on Magic Online, you can find tons of these lists at MTG Goldfish. The Wishclaws here would actually just be the card Wish, which is a red card, so the Snapback still wouldn't be live. Come on, you don't want to kill me here. Why would you want to do that? And that's exactly lethal. We are dead. I did not draw a Twiddle and I was punished. Okay, well that was a fast one. So we are officially starting this league off 0-1 to burn. It happens, not the end of the world. That said, if we were playing an 8 Twiddle list instead of the Hidden Strings, I would not have boarded out any of those in this matchup. I boarded out the Hidden Strings because they're a little bit slower, and I need a card to get me off the ground, not a card that's as good while I'm winning. It happens. I'm not going to try to dwell on this. We're just going to look to win match number 2, and I will see you there. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Round number 2, we're on the draw versus Grixis boy. I'm going to keep this Wishclaw Talisman. We'll search out our Lotus Field, and then we just have to draw a payoff. We have a couple hand-tripping Twiddles, which I absolutely love. When you're playing a Lotus Field deck, you should think about Vizier of Tumbling Sands like a desperate ritual that also draws a card. It's pretty good. Our opponent plays a turn 1 Steam Vents into Ragavan. We draw Preordain, we'll cast that. Grab the basic island, play the Preordain. I think I'm actually going to bottom both of these, because this Scalding Tarn is going to grab a black source for the Wish Claw. I drew Lotus Field. That was pretty good. Okay. I was considering leaving one of them on top so that our opponent doesn't hit our singleton Thassa's Oracle, but I think you're supposed to just take chances because I didn't want any of those cards. So this is what I did. If I get punished, I get punished. They hit another Underworld Breach. Okay. Not very useful in this spot. Okay, our opponent has finally played a Dragon's Rage Channeler and then a Misty Rainforest. They contemplated quite a bit on that Underworld Breach. It's turn 2, but I have to imagine it's tough to do anything meaningful on turn 2 with an Underworld Breach. I could be wrong, though. They Expressive Iteration, and now they can Surveil with their Dragon's Rage Channel. They put a Preordain to the graveyard, and they could play a Ragavan, but they can't because they don't have any mana, so it goes to exile. We'll draw a card. Underworld Breach, wow, okay. So we have a win lined up next turn. I'm going to play the Wishclaw Talisman here as essentially protection, because what it can do is it can search out the Singleton Pact of Negation. And this is definitely not something that the card Wish could do in the spot. I just think that Wishclaw is such a much better card. We are at 14 life. Our opponent attacks for 3. We'll go to 11. The Ragavan will trigger Izzet Charm. And they're just going to choose to pass here, which is pretty interesting. We draw another Wishclaw Talisman. We will float 2 mana, play Lotus Field. Okay, and now we can cycle this Vizier. Untap the Lotus Field, and we'll draw a card. So, like I said, Desperate Ritual that cantrips. Pretty good. It's also uncounterable. And now we'll cycle the Vizier again. Untap. Another Vizier. Okay, so this time we'll tap for red. And I'll cycle the Vizier, untap the Lotus Field. And by making the red mana here, I get to have more blue mana available. Let's try the Underworld Breach. Our opponent's going to play Counterspell. And now I will activate my Wishclaw Talisman using 1 blue. They're thinking on the activation here. Okay, we'll grab Pact of Negation. And I'm going to Counterspell their Counterspell with their Dragon's Rage Channeler trigger on the stack. Alright, Underworld Breach. So what we're really worried about at this point, I believe, is Spell Pierce. Some of these lists have a main deck Force of Negation, but, I mean, ooh, and they have it. That's brutal. Can we still win? I don't believe so. Wow. Okay. What to do? We will Twiddle Lotus Field, because I have to find a way to win now. I guess I could have Twiddled in my upkeep to pay for Pact, but I don't think we're winning against the giving our opponent... Oh, so they had everything. Alright, I wasn't going to win. No matter what I did, they were going to beat me there. That's devastating. I think that's really the only way you can put that. We'll bring in more Pact of Negation. I think I want the Ave Progenitor Ooze as well. Bring in both of those. And I don't think Izzet Charm is great in this particular matchup. Well, I guess it does counter Blood Moon. Maybe I should bring that back in. Board out Considers, maybe. Yeah, let's try this. If you wanted to, you could bring in Force of Negation as well. I'm not a big fan of that, because in this matchup, you really want your interaction to go both ways. And the reason to bring in Force of Negation is Blood Moon. But we have the Izzet Charm. This Force of Negation here is really for decks like Living End, or like the mono red Blood Moon decks. I'd probably bring it in there as well. But in an interactive matchup with lots of back and forth, I don't think a pure defensive card is what you could bring in. Echoing Truths, but historically I haven't loved those in the matchup. I'd rather just lean on Otawara if I'm in that spot. Game number 2, we're on the play. Double Ave Progenitor Ooze. I don't think so. Yikes. I think we're going to 5. The hand just doesn't get to play Magic. We'll keep this. I think I'm actually going to put back the Wishclaw here. Alright, let's fetch down to 17. Grabbing a Steam Vents. Play the Preordain. We'll bottom both of these. Ave is back. Unfortunately, this is just not a card we need. Misty Rainforest, the Ragavan. Okay. We'll draw for the turn. Another Izzet Charm. That's actually pretty good because I was torn apart by whether or not I would kill this Ragavan, and I ultimately came to the decision of yes. But I was really torn because I wanted it to loot away the Ave Progenitor. Ooh, that's what it's going to do. So not bad. Not bad at all. They play Dragon's Rage Channeler, a Mishra's Bauble, putting another Channeler to the graveyard. Then they bobble us. They play an island. So they did have the second land the whole time. They'll draw off their bobble. We find land number 3. I'm going to loot with this Izzet Charm. Doing it now to avoid a counterspell. They could have a Spell Pierce, but I'm taking my chance. 2 lands. Okay. We'll play a tapped Watery Grave and pass the turn. Our opponent taps 3 lands into Blood Moon. Yeah, I mean, that was the punish for Izzet Charm during my main phase. Okay. Yikes, it looks like we're starting this video off 0-2. Theoretically, it's still possible to win through Blood Moon. We can just win by twiddling the One Ring, but we have nothing going on for it. My other basic island is in the graveyard, which means I can't even make blue-blue for the Oracle. Maybe we actually are just hard locked out of this game because my Otawara is on the battlefield. Yeah, I believe I am. Okay, I'm going to concede. I felt like I needed to resolve this Izzet Charm so I could start to get ahead, and instead I lost to the Blood Moon. So maybe a poor judgment choice, but ultimately I don't know if we were going to win if I didn't do it. Like, I needed to find Lotus Field, and neither of those things happened. So 0-2, 3 matches left to go. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. Alright, match number 3. We're on the draw again. We will keep. We have a 1-lander, but we do have this Consider. Double Hidden Strings, not terribly different than additional copies of Twiddle here. Although, I think in that previous match, I was thinking about it in between rounds. If we had Twiddles and they pitch a Terminate, so we're facing Rakdos Scam. If they were Twiddles, I theoretically could have tapped my opponent's mana and then tried to untap and win. And instead, we were unable to do that. So, small difference between Twiddle and Hidden Strings, but not the end of the world. They take our Consider, and now the Grief will come back, and they're probably going to take the Wishclaw Talisman. Our hand went from fairly okay to not very good. Draw the One Ring. Well, I guess that's okay if we can draw like 3 straight lands in a row. They play Bloodstained Mire, they attack for 4, we go to 6, draw. Instead, they're going to fetch in our upkeep for Blood Crypt. Sure. We draw a Vizier. We'll have to pass. Okay, we're at 12. Dauthi Voidwalker. So, I don't know how we're going to win this game because they have 7 power in play. We're at 12. We don't even have 2 lands. They're just really into fetching on my upkeep to put their lands into play tapped. Got it. That's enough. So we did not win that game. In fact, we are getting absolutely destroyed. We haven't won a game yet. Ay. I was hesitant to even record this deck tonight just because I've been so low on Modern. I actually feel like Modern's pretty unfun. I don't want to get into a rant. I just don't enjoy the format that much. I do like playing Living End. I think Living End is very good. But pretty much all of the Storm decks, I feel like, have aged out of the format. Like, the rest of what everyone else is doing is just so much more powerful than what Storm Combo has access to. Like, when your best accelerant in the format is Pyretic Ritual, come on. Like, what are you doing? They have Force of Will, or I'm sorry, Force of Negation, Force of Vigor, there's Grief. Like, give Combo back some toys already. Reevaluate the ban. Alright, I said I wasn't going to go on a rant in here. Just side. But it makes me pretty frustrated that Storm Combo is just not allowed to exist, but like Scam with their double Grief on turn 1 plus Dauthi Voidwalker or whatever is just fine. Take out Pact of Negation. We're going to skim on some copies of Hidden Strings and Viziers. Basically, I want to cut cards that are only good while we're comboing and start to have more cards that are okay before that point. I'm going to cut one Izzet. Let's try this. Yes. Sure, this is fine. Land of the Void. Okay. Play Flooded Strand and we'll pass. They play Black Cleave Cliffs into the Monkey. Grab our Steam Vents. Ouch. Bitter. We'll bin the Twiddle effect. Right on time, Leyline. Right on time. The One Ring. That's a good draw. So we can play the One Ring next turn, but we have to get to that point. One has land number 2. Inside of combat, I'm going to hard cast the Snapback. I don't want them getting to 3 mana. They have the Thoughtseize, so I'm likely going to lose my One Ring. Yep, the One Ring goes to exile. They replay the Ragavan. Draw another ring! Yes! Okay. Lucky hit. We'll sacrifice our lands. Untap the Dream Script. And this is why having Twiddles is so good. This is a spot where if we had Hidden Strings, it doesn't actually do what we want. Like, I think that Hidden Strings is actively wrong, and people don't like it when I say stuff like that, but I think that it makes people feel good because they're like, oh, I can untap Lotus Field and the One Ring. That's so cool. But it's just not necessary, at least in my opinion. Alright, so Ragavan connects. I have protection due to the One Ring, and now they're passing. In our upkeep, we will lose 1 life due to the One Ring. Take a draw. Another Twiddle. I love it. We'll draw 2. Orcish Bowmaster. Okay. That's fine. Leyline stops the Bowmaster, so it's not the end of the world. A pair of lands. Okay. We'll play the island, and I'm just going to hardcast the Leyline. We will pass the turn. So I'm going to take 6 damage here, going down to 7. The Ragavan triggers. They hit my Echoing Truth. No! Oh, that's so brutal. Oh, just devastating here. Chalice of the Void on 2. We can actually beat that. Okay. We draw the Oracle. We will activate to draw 3. The problem is, I don't know how many Twiddles we have left. There's 2 in our exile. We have 2 in hand, so we have 1 left on our deck. We might not be able to beat that. Let's untap the One Ring. We'll draw 4 cards. Okay, so they have a huge creature, but I could play another One Ring and buy myself some time. I need to keep the Otawara if I want to win. This Otawara not being Void Snare, by the way, huge disappointment. Because if this was a Void Snare, we would have been very far ahead this. We only have 2 basic islands. One of them is in exile right now. So I think I'm supposed to play this Watery Grave untapped, going to 3 life. And then we'll play the other copy of the ring, keeping the new one. And I guess I didn't need a draw card there, but I did to be lazy. I should have done it on the opponent's turn, because I technically have to discard an extra card to clean up. I don't need the Flooded Strand because it can only get lands that deal me 3. The life loss of the fetch plus a shock is... So I don't need that, and I also don't need another Leyline of Sanctity. And then probably don't need this Izzet. Okay, the One Ring will put me to 2 life. We'll draw for turn. I need that other Twiddle here. And then we drew it. Wow, okay. So let's start off by drawing 2. Cave Progenitor Ooze, okay. I truly have no idea how we're going to. We have 31 cards in our deck. We only have these 2 Twiddles. So hypothetically, I can pay 4 mana, bounce the Leyline. I'm sorry, bounce the Chalice. The Echoing Truth will have to come back for the Leyline later. Untap on the Lotus Field. And now we will untap this One Ring. And now we're at the spot where if we had Hidden Strings, it'd be okay here. They just conceded. I was about to lose the game. Okay, good deal. Thank you, opponent. Wow, that was very generous of them. I wonder if I'm not supposed to be a Breach deck. Like, maybe that's a dumb way of saying it. But if they have Leylines and Dauthis, like, what if instead I just, like, don't be the Breach deck and I'm just the One Ring 8 deck? Like, what would that look like here? Like, let's just say we don't care about Graveyard Hate at all. Okay, so we're bringing in the hidden strings. And if that's the case, I can board out the Tome Scour, board out the Breach. That's 63 cards. And at this point, we're only trying to win using this package. I have to find 2 cards to take out, which are probably 2 Viziers. Or actually, if I'm not doing the graveyard plan, maybe Izzet Charm? This crazy. I think so, but I'm going to try it out. I like trying different plans, see how they go. Ay, ay, ay. This actually okay. Our opponent's taking a mulligan. I mean, if I get griefed, this hand is actually somewhat resilient. I'm gonna try it. At first, I thought it was a mulligan due to triple Twiddle effect, but I don't know. I think it could work. Land Thoughtseize from the opponent. Goodbye, Preordain. We draw land number 2. That's great. Now we just need to find Lotus Field. I guess the downside is I'm actually like pretty. What am I trying to say here? Reliant on the One Ring. That could be a downside. Like, if our opponent knew that I was only a One Ring deck, I think it'd be pretty easy to beat me in post-board game. Our opponent plays a Verdant Catacombs, and they're just passing. Interesting. Take a draw. Not the Lotus Field we wanted. Let's play Consider. And I'm going to get Bowmastered. I feel like it was a pretty obvious thing. Maybe I should have waited. Yep. The Bowmaster happens. Sad. Can I justify keeping another Consider here? I don't think so. We'll put it to the graveyard. So this is actually a pretty good draw. If I can draw into a Lotus Field, this Ave will go... It would be good. I'll say that. Alright, pass. Our opponent taps 2 lands for a Chalice of the Void on 1. Yeah, that's problematic. Take a draw. Another fetch. Okay, so I'm going to just pass the turn back here. We will fall to 11. Dauthi Voidwalker. Yeah, I mean, it's not looking great for the home team. We'll grab a Watery Grave. I'm at 10 life. Wishclaw Talisman. So they have 6 power on the board. If I fetch, I go to 9. I don't know if I'm going to be able to wiggle through this. I think I'm supposed to just play the Claw and pass. So they're going to attack for 6. I'll go to 4. Another Dauthi. Okay. Now we'll go to 3. Grab a Steam Vent, so that way if I need to play an untapped island at some point, we have that option. We'll draw for turn. It's another Hidden Strength. That's interesting. Activate, we'll grab Lotus Field. Float a blue mana. Actually, I should probably get rid of a Steam. We'll play the Lotus Field. Sacrifice 2 lands. And now I can cast a Hidden String. Untap. Yes, yes, no. And we'll play the One Ring. Triggers, I have protection from everything. They have found land 3. If this is Blood Moon, I'm dead. I cannot do a whole lot about that. Interesting. Our opponent is activating Wishclaw Talisman. What are you getting? Not Blood Moon, and it can't be anything that costs 1. Okay, our opponent's not going to play it. We have protection, so cool. Is it another Orcish Bowmaster? Okay. It is, but I still have protection from everything. Okay, sure. Got it. Yep. Got it. They're at 15 life. I take 1 off the One Ring. I go to 2. We'll draw for turn. So I think what we're supposed to do here, and I could be wrong, is we're going to activate this Wishclaw Talisman. What to grab? So I'm actually in a really tough spot here, because if I just Ave, I lose to the Dauthi Voidwalkers on the battlefield. And if I answer the Chalice of the Void, I can then Ave for a lot, but I die to the Bowmaster triggers off of the one. So I think they might have me locked out of the game. So I think this is kind of crazy. My out might be to hardcast Leyline of Sanctity. We'll untap these 2. Now I'll tap the Lotus Field, hardcast the Leyline. I'll go to 1 and search out that basic island. I have no idea how we're going to get through this. Activate. We need to hit Hidden Strings, and we did not. I'm good to pick it up. So we are officially 0-3. Yikes. I did not expect to go 0-3 in this video. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. There's 1, maybe 2 matches left. Let's see if we can, finish this with a 2-3. You're still watching. Make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. We have won a die roll. How about that? On the play for the fourth match? Sure, we'll keep that. I've had some thoughts in between rounds. I took a short break after that last one. If I'm going to be honest with you, I needed one. That was a disappointing match. I mean, we're 0-3. We've been getting crushed. And I built a deck list that I think has potential moves. So I'm excited to show you it at the end and see where we can go from there. I think I want both of these cards. So we'll put those both on top and pass. Our opponent activates their Polluted Delta. Our opponent is telling me in chat that they're a Storm player, so we might be in a Storm off here. Preordain. They kept both cards. Okay. Play Polluted Delta and we'll pass. They're going to pass as well. I believe that they're on Gift Storm. We have to consider Remand here. Fetch. Grab Steam Vents. We'll pay the 2 life. I don't think it's going to matter much. Consider. We'll bend the Misty. Hidden String. What to do. I believe I'm just going to play the Scalding Turn and pass. They're going to do the same. We will fetch. So I can get another red source in case I draw Izzet Charm, or I can get a black source for the Wish Claw. I think I'd rather get the extra red source. And I think I want to loot, which might be greedy, but I want to, like, this Oracle is a dead card. Brutal double land. Okay. And our hand doesn't do anything. So many Twiddle. We're at 12. Pass. Instead, Desperate Ritual into Gifts and Given. If I would have held that Izzet Charm, we could have countered this Gifts and Given. They make a pretty standard pile here. We'll put the pair of rituals to the graveyard. They can have Grape Shot and Manamorphose. They pass. Interesting. Going to clean up. They discard the Grape Shot. We'll draw Preordain. Let's cast that. Both of these are very good. Going to play out the Otawara. This way, if they remand my Izzet Charm, I can recast it. Another Desperate Ritual. This time we will counter this Gifts and Gifts. They have 5 cards in their hand. In their upkeep, I think I want to... Actually, no, they've burned a lot of rituals. They're probably low on mana. They have 4 rituals in their graveyard. There's only 8 in the deck. We know that they have 1 Manamorphose in it. You have a Chief of Compliance. Okay. So we know that we're drawing the Vizier. We'll float mana. We need to draw like an Underworld Breach off of this Vizier of Tumbling Sands. Cycle the Vizier. Untap the Lotus Field. Draw a card. Underworld Breach? Of course not. Alright, pass. I think it's safe to assume that our opponent has a Past in Flames in their hand because they didn't get one with this first Gifts and Given. Instead, they picked up a Grape Shot. So I can Dream Script to tap their land here. The downside of this is, I don't think it matters. Our opponent has a Manamorphose in there. So, see what they're going to do here. Manamorphose would bring them up to 3. So, we would need them to not have another land. We would need them to not draw a mana off the Manamorphose. They have a tap land. Wow, are we actually getting another turn here? Come on, deck. Underworld Breach, let's go. Pretty please. Another Vizier. We will cycle that. Untapping the Lotus Field. Draw a card. Preordain. Let's cast it. There we go. This beats Remand. Hidden Strings to tap their Steam Vents and untap our Lotus. Actually, hold on. This is like some Pioneer Storm here. We're going to play Lotus Field. Okay. And we'll Hidden Strings untapping a pair of Lotus Fields here, which is why I'm saying it's like Pioneer. Normally in Modern, you don't have 2 Lotus Fields in play. Play the Underworld Breach. Nice Remand. They will Manamorphose in response, making blue-red. Okay. I will escape. Actually, hold on. We're going to tap their island and untap Lotus Field. And now we can switch phases so that their mana will leave their mana pool. And now we'll tap Lotus Field for 3 blue, and we'll cast Preordain. Firm is 6. We might as well take the Vizier, just because it's kind of free. Puts a card to the graveyard, it draws a card, replaces a mana. It's just delightful. Active negation, not super helpful here. We will preordain again. Firm is 7. Not that it matters. We're not playing Grape Shot today. There's the Scour. So at this point, we just have to execute the loop. So we're going to scour ourselves. We just do this a bunch until we can play the Thassa's Oracle. So now we will Hidden Strings to make mana, and our opponent can see. Okay, so now we can go to game number 2. We likely want Force of Negation in this matchup. I wonder if Leyline is actually good. I don't know. I do think that you're supposed to board out some number of Twiddles, so it's either going to be Vizier or Hidden Strings. I think I'm going to do a 2 and 2. Let's try this. A lot of Twiddles. A lot of Twiddles. I think I'm going to mulligan, which is crazy, but I envision that not going well for me. And now we're punished because I have 6 cards that look pretty good, but I'm actually kind of far away. I'm going to go to 5. Like, the Wandering costs 4. It's so clunky. Hidden Strings I can't use. Like, I think it's a trap hand. I'll go to 5. This is a lot better. We'll get rid of the Wish Claw and the Wandering. Let's go. So, in my Giftstorm videos, granted, I don't record the deck that often anymore, although I did publish a video last month. I talk a lot about how Remand isn't good because the printing of all the free interaction spells in the format dating back to Modern Horizons 1. And diehard Giftstorm fans get really upset when I say that, but it's kind of just the truth in my opinion. And I'm going to show you in this game why that is. So, obviously things like Fury, Force of Negation, Endurance, all of these things are problems for the deck. But Giftstorm diehards kind of have rose-colored glasses on. Because whenever I mention Remand not being very good against these pitch spells, they're like, oh, well, you can just Remand your own spell. That's technically a true thing. You could do that. Or if you Remand, your own spell, let's say that you cast Gifts and Given, I allow it to resolve. That was a very good draw, by the way. I allow it to resolve, and then I put, let's say, a pair of Rituals to your hand, and then you flashback Past in Flames. I cast Force of Negation. Okay, in this hypothetical world, that has happened. You can't Remand that Past in Flames back to your hand if it's a flashback spell. And if you Remand my Force of Negation, I just replay it, and then lose a huge amount of mana and resources. Like, it's just not, it never plays out how people think it, I guess is my point here. Alright, I'm going to play the Lotus Field. Pass the turn. Another end step Desperate Ritual. Gifts and Given. We choose the 2 that go to the graveyard. I will put Flusterstorm and Baral to the graveyard. And it looks like our opponent's just going to pass the turn. They have 6 cards in hand. You draw Izzet Charm. I'll take 2. Preordain. I think I'm going to bottom 1 Preordain and I'll keep the Consider. Pass. End step, they play Flame of Honor. They're just going to draw 2 cards. They have a Steam Vents. That's a Goblin Electromancer. It looks like they're going to pass. They have 6 cards in hand. On their end step, I will cast Consider. We'll mill over an Izzet Charm. Another Hidden String. I didn't need that. I do think that this deck kind of has too many Twiddles. Let's Hidden Strings to untap here. They Remand. I will cast it again. Now they're going to Fluster, which I love that. I have double Force of Negation in my hand. They just use the Flusters. Pass the turn. They're drawing up to 6 cards. Desperate Ritual. Gifts and Given. Ooh, it's happening exactly how I said it was going to happen. So Manamorphose, Past in Flames go to the graveyard. Ritual. Manamorphose, okay. They cast Past in Flames. I am now going to cast Force of Negation, exiling an Izzet Charm. So if you remand here, are you remanding your own Past in Flames? Are you going to remand my Force of Negation? This is why I feel like remand hasn't aged super well. They have 4 mana. They're going to draw 2 cards in response. That doesn't actually solve the problem. Grape Shot. Do you have double Grape Shot here? If so, I'm dead. That is something that can happen in this format. Okay. I'm at 6. Show me the other grape shot. They don't have it, but now I'm going to go to 4. Okay. Underworld Breach. I believe that wins. Assuming our opponent doesn't have another Remand or Fluster. Untap, untap. Underworld Breach. Things are looking good. Hidden Strings, untapping our 2 lands. In this spot, it's just the same as a regular Twiddle. Yes, yes, no. We'll untap a bunch. Now we'll play the One Ring. Alright, we have gain protection from everything. We'll draw a card. We found the Tome Scour. Beautiful. So now we'll Hidden Strings. This is the spot where this card shines. However, I feel like in this spot, a regular Twiddle also would probably just win the game. So, I don't know. I'm not trying to be a hater. I just think that this card is kind of a crutch for people that want easy mode back. Alright, we will cycle the Vizier. Untap the Lotus Field. Take a draw. It's enough. So I could win here just by going Tome Scour and stuff, but I just want to do the Hidden Strings thing so that way the people watching the video for it can watch it at least once. We will Hidden Strings. Now we'll draw 3. We can cast Dream's Grip to untap the Lotus Field. And then let's fetch and go to 3, just to put another card in the graveyard. Grab the basic island, play Consider. That land can go to the graveyard. Another One Ring. How about that? Alright. Hidden Strings, untap, untap. Exile some lands and a Consider. Okay, we'll draw 4. Untap the One Ring. We have plenty of mana. Draw 5. Play a Consider. We'll keep that. 1 blue, draw 6. Better than Ancestral Recall. I'm into it. Draw 6. No Twiddles. And our opponent's going to concede the game. Alright, we've gotten our first match win. We are now 1-3 with 1 match left to go. The Command Tower software by Eminence Gaming is perfect for hosting your own Magic events with features such as easy-to-create event registration for 4-player and one-on-one Swiss-based games. Event management has never been so simple, and it's done on the web, no downloads are required. You can sign up for $5 by visiting eminence.events/subscribe. The 5th and final match. We're on the draw. We cannot keep that hand. Sure, we'll try this. Bottom the Tome. Turn 1 basic swamp. I don't like that. Pact of Negation. Not an ideal draw here. Maybe we can get rid of that Pact of Negation thing. Let's find out. Watery Grave. Maybe it's a good draw. I wasn't expecting. I thought maybe we were facing the Rakdos scam deck again, or maybe some sort of modern Pock. Oh, we're facing Mill. Okay. Jeez Louise. No one likes Mill player. Another Izzet Charm. We will pass. I would like 1 Underworld Breach. Single Underworld Breach. Is that too much to ask? They play a crab. Feeling a little crabby. Okay, we'll mill 3 here. Wishclaw Talisman hits the graveyard. One has 5 cards in hand. On their end step, I'm going to draw 2, discard 2. Give me Underworld Breach. We will mill 3. Well, good thing there wasn't an Underworld Breach on top. Come on. No dice. Discard the Steam Vents and the Hidden Strings. 33% of the way through our deck, there's no Underworld Breaches in there. Not a single one. On. Nope, just another Twiddle. We will pass the turn. Except they cycle a Fractured City. We mill 4 more cards, still no Underworld Breach. Tasha's Hideous Laughter. Well, that one is going to be countered. No. Surgical on our Lotus Field. Darn. Okay. I mean, I should concede here, but I'm going to play it out. There's the off chance that we win using Thassa's Oracle and our opponent milling us. Let's see if we can make it happen. Draw a Vizier. I mean, I don't know what else to do here. I'm just going to cycle it. Tap the Steam Vents. Sweet, another Twiddle. Actually, I value my time on and then I can game 2. I guess we can bring in the Ape. They help us have more than 1 win condition versus the Surgical deck. Once again, I think that you want to board down on Twiddle effects. I can't but wonder if like we're supposed to bring in Force of Negation. I don't have a strong opinion. It might not be good enough. I think I'm going to board down on Wishclaws. try this. Yes, I would like to play first. Sure. Play a Misty Rainforest and we will pass. In their upkeep, I will fetch. Grab that Steam Vents. Tapped Watery Grave. Archive Trap. I think I'm actually going to let this consider and put that to the graveyard. We don't need a... If they have Surgical on Lotus Field, that's... I do have this Force of Negation. Fetch. Grab the Watery Grave. We'll pass the turn. No Surgical. The Oracle and Ooze are in the graveyard. I'm going to loot. They want to Drown in the Loch. I'm okay with that. We'll take a draw. Vizier. Pass. Okay. Draw. Steam Vents. I go to 12. Send it back. Grab is... I mean, I can't do anything with that, but I also don't care. End step, let's cycle the Vizier. Take a draw. Underworld Breach. Big fan. Lotus Field. They want to mill in my upkeep. Well, they've milled the Breach. Do I have another fetchable? We're going to just pass here. So I could have played Underworld Breach and just tried to dig to Lotus Field that turn. I chose not to. I feel like the risk was a little bit high. Another crab. And our opponent is passing. So on their end step, we're going to tap down their land. This is our window. We're going to try to capitalize. Now we'll tap the Watery Grave. Preordain. Cast it. Lotus Field. Don't mind if I do. Make a blue mana, play the Lotus Field. Underworld Breach. Okay, it looks like we're going to win this game unless our opponent has a surprise Surgical Extraction. And I believe that they have hit the F6 key, so I don't think that's going to be... We have 25 cards left in our deck. We can just start scattering. We've milled over the Pact of Negation. So I believe that this game is over. Tap the Lotus Field. I just want some mana floating. We do have to cast Tome Scour 3 more times in order to win. 1, 2. There's 2. I misclicked the first. Now we'll Twiddle on the Lotus Field. Just to make sure that if anything were to happen, I could play multiple counter spells. We have no deck, and now we will cast Thassa's Oracle. Okay, that's game number 2 against a mill, and now we are going to game number 3. Try it again. The final game of this league, no matter what. Having Underworld Breach is great. Having multiples, less great. I also don't have a second land. I think you're supposed to send this one back. Okay, we'll keep this and get rid of the ooze. Our opponent has mulligan to 4. Our opponent has a Leyline of the Void. Wow. Was not expecting that. Okay. So, I guess we have to win with the ooze. And I put one on the bottom of our deck. That's really uncomfortable. Bright side is that they mulliganed into Oblivion looking for that Leyline of the Void. We just keep on drawing fetch land. Oh, what was I thinking? I should have shocked there. I was just like, my brain was on autopilot, and I just wasn't thinking. They play a Ruin Crab. They do have land number 3. They mill over my Tome Scour. I guess the one upside here is that the rest of this game I don't have to worry about Surgical Extraction on my Lotus Field. We'll play a Flooded Strand. Let's play Consider. I definitely don't need an Underworld Breach. Vizier. Okay. They milled over a Lotus Field. I don't love that. They have 1 card in hand. I'm not going to play around Archive. Grab a Steam Vent. They are now fetching. Okay. Bunch of cards I don't care about. Their last card was Archive Trap. I cannot counter it with the Izzet Charm. They milled over another Lotus Field, but the upside is I still have both Ooze in the deck. We're going to cycle the Vizier. Untap. Take a draw. Preordain, okay. Let's start off by casting Preordain. Wow, that was perfect. Top. Float mana. Play Preordain. Keep both on top. So now we'll float a blue. Play the Lotus Field. Untap. Tap for 3 blue. Hidden Strings. Yes, no. And now we're going to make 20 power worth of ooze. That was pretty sweet. I guess technically a misplay. I knew that I had the Twiddle on top. I could have Izzet Charmed into the Twiddle for 2 more ooze, which would have been guaranteed lethal on this turn. Oversight on my part. You draw Tasha's. Baleful Master. Okay. I would have been a little bit sad if they drew a Tasha's there. I will go to combat. Swing. Yeah, I definitely misplayed last turn with the... But I could have tapped down their Rune Crab here. I don't know. I believe I have a basic island left. In their upkeep, I'm going to tap a land. They're dead if they have a blocker anyway. And tapping them off mana makes my Izzet Charm slightly better. Okay, they're just dead. Sweet, we came back and got the 2-3 for half of my entry fee back. So this is what we played today. I'll be honest, I did not like it. There's way too many Twiddle effects. We're on 13 Twiddles. I flooded out on Twiddle so many times. We had land issues. We either had too many or not enough. What this deck needs is smoothing. I think that's ultimately what Lotus Field wants. And I think that this deck has super high variance. The games that you're able to put the One Ring into play and then do the thing with hidden strings, they feel amazing because you're like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. But they're super rare and far between. That's at least my opinion. Izzet Charm, I think, was a little bit better than I expected, if I'm being completely honest. But I am never going to play this build of the deck ever again. I think that the One Ring might not be the way to go. And I've brewed this up for you instead. So this looks like a more classic Lotus Breach list. A Return to Street Wraith, Mishra's Bauble, and you're actually going down on lands. You're going to be playing 18 lands because you're playing 8 cards that draw a card for 0. And that will give you more consistency. You can find your Twiddles when you need them, but you won't flood out on them. You'll find your lands when you need them. We're back to playing Otherworldly Gaze alongside Preordain and Consider, so you can fuel the graveyard hyper efficiently for your Underworld Breach. I do want to continue to play at least 2 copies of Izzet Charm. Like I said in the deck tech, it is good against Chalice of the Void, Blood Moon, Dauthi Voidwalker. It also fuels your graveyard. I think that that truly was the best find by those people playing the One Ring alongside Wish. I think that this card was truly amazing, but I don't want to be playing this One Ring build anymore. So moving forward, I'm going to be playing this. Snapback never really came up this league, although I think that this was actually a pretty cool find by me. Just being able to get it off for Wishclaw Talisman and Dauthi. We were never in that spot, but it could exist. That's what I've got. So thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. Have a great day. Keep storming. All that good stuff. See ya! I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to support the channel. After you do that, open up our description where you can find all of our social media networks, including our Discord, where you can discuss today's deck in that Discord with me and tons of other combo masterminds. It's absolutely free to join, and it's certainly worth your while.